Hi, welcome to Smart Update. I'm Brian Brown. My partner Doug Vining is behind the camera. And we've got a guest today, Gareth Knight, a South African who moved to London and was a part of several startups, 3 of his own, and participated in 4 others. And he's got a few lessons that might be helpful for the rest of you. Gareth, just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Cool. I got involved in the tech scene after leaving university. I went to London at the end of the dot-com crash and got to London just as the crash was happening, so I couldn't get a job. And then spent 6 months working in an internet cafe, and then from there joined the first startup, which failed miserably, and then started one with 2 friends and left that after 6 months and lost 2 friends in the process. And then joined another one, which was a .NET software consultancy based in Cape Town, working in their London office, which went really well. That company's still growing, still good friends with the owner. Then got retrenched from that company and then started my own one and grew that to 10 or 12 people in a year and a half. Then took funding from some investors in London to build a social network for the family called Kindo.com. And then grew that quite quickly, and then sold that to a company called myheritage.com, where I am still a part of officially, and I'll be leaving that in the not too distant future, and I'll be embarking on the next thing, startup.
Right on. So I understand you're spending more and more time in South Africa again. Do you have any idea what the next startup will be, or is that a secret?
No, not a secret at all. I think if you can't defend your idea, then you shouldn't be in business.
Amen.
So, yeah, I'm looking at stuff that's not in the social sphere. I think the big lesson I've learned is that it's very difficult to scale a social company and make real money from it, because you have to be really, really big to make good money. And the appetite for investment for that is becoming less and less and less. So if you take that, and then you also take that I'm not a technical genius in that I'm not going to create a real disruptive technology. I'm not that kind of a technical person. Then for me the objective is to find something that can leverage the experiences that I've had in Kindo. So good search engine stuff, good usability, and good localization, internationalization. So we went from 0 to 8 languages and then to 17 languages in 155 countries in 8 months. So we learned some good skills around that.
Yeah.
And then take that and then combine that with something that has to make money. So at the moment I'm looking at some e-commerce based stuff, leveraging a long tail of search, which is looking pretty exciting, and it looks like there's a good business model, so that's something to look at. And then on top of that, trying to figure out if there's any other opportunities. But these things take time, so at the moment I'm just trying to put all the ducks in a row and get things in the right place. So that failure is there's a better chance of success, put it that way.
Yeah, good stuff. So you might be looking for some other South African entrepreneurs to partner with or brainstorm with or pursue ideas as well. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've learned from working in Europe and working with people who are exposed in America and who have investments in London and Europe is that the cost of people there is very, very high. If you're hiring somebody in London, you've got to put away £5,000 a month, £5,000 a month. Just for like a middle to top rate guy, which is very, very expensive. And then to top it all off, office space is expensive. It's just an expensive city. So what I want to do is have a cost base that's in South Africa. So I want to find really good, sharp people that are in South Africa that want to be a part of something global and work with them here, but do the business dev and sales and marketing and the kind of the soft skill stuff in London, in Europe with people there. And to try and leverage the low cost base here, but then getting revenues in dollars and pounds and euros. Because I think the exchange rate is supportive of that.
That's exciting stuff. Gareth, I might even be available. I'll get you my CV. Gareth, like myself, you've had some very good successes and some pretty dismal business failures. If I could, just what do you think the most poignant things you've learned from the failures have been?
Everybody says it, but very few people do it. I think the biggest mistake I made was not putting something formal in writing and signing it with the people that I started with.
Amen. Yes.
That was my first big mistake, and I lost 2 friends from that, and I'm really unhappy about that, and I hope that one day I'll be friends with those people again, but it was a big, big mistake. So if you're ever going to work with friends or with people that are well known to you or
anyone.
Yeah, I mean anyone for that matter, but you want to work with people that you respect and that you trust, but most of all you don't want to lose the relationship with them. So I once had it described to me by my uncle, who's also built and failed and succeeded companies. He said to me, you need to have a good marriage agreement, but then you also need to have a divorce agreement. And if you think about it that way, it's actually quite easy. You just have a one-pager that says, this is what happens if we get successful, and this is what happens if things go bad. And if everybody sticks to that and it's in writing, then you're probably better off than most people. So that's a big lesson.
Yeah, folks, I've given you this advice in person. If you've ever met with me, get it in writing, especially if it's your friends. You all trust each other when you're struggling. When things go successful or go sour, everyone kind of forgets or reinterprets what was said around the table that day. Yeah. And what would you say is a lessons for success?
I've grown a lot as a person, and I would have to say that the most important thing you can do to be successful is to help other people to be successful too.
Yes. If
you try and be successful on your own, it's going to be very, very difficult, because very few people succeed on their own. Everybody has that other guy. You've got the Bill Gateses who had the Paul Allens, and you've got the Steve Jobs who had the Steve Wozniaks, and you have the guy Larry Ellison who had 3 other guys building Oracle database behind the scenes. So you have these rock stars who do really well, but behind each of them there's either a person or a bunch of people that are helping them to be successful, and that's on a small scale and a large scale. So if you want to be successful, help other people to be successful. Support them. Help them grow. Give them responsibility. Delegate to them. Let them shine as individuals. And I think you'll find that most people will surprise you. And at the same time, it's an easy way to filter out bad people.
Yeah, and I particularly want to reemphasize delegation. As an entrepreneur myself, I've so held tightly to the control. Mm-hmm. And if you don't give people authority, then you're doomed to failure. Hey?
Yeah. I mean, I think the key words or buzzwords for me are authority, and authority isn't micromanagement. It is really, you have the authority to do this, and I'm going to stand back and let you run with it. And as long as you perform and you do what we've agreed you're going to do, I don't care what you use, how you do it, just do it. You can't spend all your mental RAM thinking about what everybody else in the organization is doing. You've got to let them run with stuff. And then responsibility is slightly different to that. You can still own something, but somebody's responsible for delivering that. And so you need to be very clear what the difference is with that person and with yourself.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Well, Gareth, thank you very much for being on the show today. And I hope that maybe you'll deliver some other pearls of wisdom for us in other videos.
I hope so, yeah.
All right, great. That's it for today. Thanks, folks.
Cheers.